What's going on, y'all? We are back, and I'm sorry for the break. I haven't uploaded a video I think in 2 or 3 weeks now. Um, I've been battling my allergies really bad. And then on top of that, I've just been really busy. Haven't been able to, sit down and record a video. I did make one. I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and it was a uh dual Broncos Dolphins first round mock draft, or sorry, 7 round mock draft. After the Jalen Waddle trade, and I actually really liked the video. I thought it was really good, and so I had actually uploaded it, but I messed up the upload, and it uploaded at 1 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. And then I was busy that day that it had uploaded, so I didn't get around to being able to promote it a little bit. And then I had like 5 views in like one day, and I think the algorithm had got messed up because of it uploading at 1 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. So I decided that day, I was like, I'm going to just let that go, and I deleted it off of the channel. I might end up re-uploading it. I don't know, but it was recorded like 2 weeks ago, so I'm sure those rosters have changed since then. However, to offset the break that I have had, I'm on spring break this week from work. So that's nice. I'm gonna have a little more free time. So I'm gonna actually try to upload 2 videos this week, 2 videos next week, and then 3 weeks from this Thursday is draft day, and that no 2 weeks from, or sorry, 2 weeks from this Thursday is draft day. So I'm gonna try to put out 2 videos this week, next week, and draft week as well. I'm gonna try to do Tuesday, Thursdays uploads on those. So today the video is the Las Vegas Raiders 7 round mock draft. Every year, if you've not been around my channel before, every year I do a 7 round mock draft for the team with the number one overall pick. This year it happens to be the Las Vegas Raiders. I actually made a Raiders 7 round mock draft last year. Um, and so I think it's funny because I think this might be the first time outside of the Steelers that I've done a team with a 7 round mock draft 2 years in a row since I started doing this. Um, They've got pick 136, 67, 102, 117, 134, 175, 185, 208, and 219. So they do have 246. They have 6 picks in the top 150, three inside of the top 100, and one right outside of the top 100 at 102. This is going to be a little bit of a different video than usual because usually with my 7 round mock drafts, I do multiple scenarios with the picks because usually it's not the number one overall pick. And even like last year with the Titans, I did multiple scenarios with them at the number one overall pick. But I think I'm just gonna do two drafts straight up. The second and third and fourth round picks and stuff like that will have different variety, but it obviously will be Fernando Mendoza at the number one overall pick. So let's talk about the Raiders real quick. They did make an interesting move this past week with bringing in Kirk Cousins. I think it's a good move for them though, because this gives you the opportunity to not start Fernando Mendoza week one and let him sit and learn behind a veteran a little bit. And then also they have Aiden O'Connell on roster still as well. In the wide receiver room, they did bring in Jalen Naylor through free agency. They still have Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, and Jack Besh, who Jack Besh they drafted in the second round last year out of TCU, and Trey Tucker in the third round out of Cincinnati in 2023, and then Dante Thornton Jr. out of Tennessee in the fourth round last year. All of these guys, Trey Tucker did have a pretty good year, but the other two guys were, I would say, below average. But I don't see them really like. I do think Jack Besh gets opportunities this year because they used a second round pick on them. Obviously, Trey Tucker is going to get opportunities as well. Jalen Naylor, they did give, I think it was like 12 million a year, maybe 11 million a year for 3 years. So he's going to get opportunities as well. But I do see wide receiver as a need for them. In the running back room, obviously, they've got Ashton Genty, who they took in the first round last year at pick number 6 out of Boise State, had a pretty decent rookie year. And then outside of that, that running back room is very weak. Chris Collier, who I've never heard of, and Dylan Laub, I think is how I say it, who was like a 6th round pick out of, oh gosh, what small school is he from? New Hampshire, maybe? Weber State. Those are the two. New Hampshire. Those are the two that were calling to me. A 6th round pick, 2024 out of New Hampshire. They brought in Connor Hayward in free agency to add to the tight end or on their Our Lives depth chart, their fullback room. They also have Albert O, who used to be hyped up a little bit. Michael Mayer, who I was a fan of out of that 2023 draft class, so they took in the second round of Notre Dame, and then their 2024 first round pick, Brock Bowers. So their tight end room is also fine along with their running back room. Running back, I do think they could use a backup running back. But I would look at maybe bringing in a veteran instead of drafting somebody. And if it is, I would probably draft that person, at, at this 134 at the earliest spot due to other needs. Then offensive line, they made the splash of free agency, giving Tyler Linderbaum a ton of money. He will be their starting center. At guards, according to our lads, they're projected to start Spencer Burford at left guard, who I think they brought in from San Francisco, if I'm correct. Yeah, it looks like a San Francisco jersey in this picture. And he was a 2022 4th round pick out of UTSA. Jackson Powers Johnson at right guard, who came out of Oregon, 2nd round 2024, was a center over there. And then they also have Jordan Meredith on the roster, who's been below average. This was a 2021 Western Kentucky UDFA. And then at tackles, obviously Colt Miller, who just hasn't been able really to stay healthy the past 3 years. But he's obviously one of the top tackles in the league when he's on the field. And then DJ Glaze has been starting at right tackle for them mainly. This is a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if they end up kind of this. They probably give him the start this year. He was a 3rd round pick in 2024, but he's just been kind of below average. And they also have Charles Grant, who was a 3rd rounder last year out of William and Mary, who played 59 snaps. Then on the defense side of the ball, where they spent a ton of money on, they re-signed Eric Stokes, who was good for them last year. They went and got Teron Johnson from the Bills. They still got Kai Blue Kelly and Darian Porter. Darian Porter they drafted out of Iowa State in the 3rd round last year. And then DeCamerion Richardson. And then safety wise, they've got Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Palomau. Um, Linebacker wise, they spent money, went out and got Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. Still got Tommy Eichenberg and Jamin Davis, who I could care less about. And then the tier defense line is bad. They've got Jonah Lealu, Thomas Booker, JJ Pigio, Tonka Hemingway. Adam Butler was okay last year. Then edge rusher room, they did go and get Kwity Paye. They still got Tyree Wilson, their 2023 1st round pick. They still have Max Crosby after trading him for 2 1st round picks, and then getting him back. And then Malcolm Coots and Charles Snowden, who wasn't terrible last year and 324 snaps played. So, and then we got Matt Gay and AJ Cole, special teamer wise. So, getting into the draft, my Las Vegas Raiders needs post free agency are obviously quarterback. Right, we can go ahead and get the draft started and take Fernando Mendoza. Outside of that, I think they could use a backup running back. I think they could use at least one wide receiver, if not two. I think they could use a right tackle, which makes this conversation interesting because Monroe Freely's sitting there on the board. Um, is this the big board? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I might have messed this up. I made my own big board earlier. I want to go off the PFF big board though. Yeah. Okay, that's right. I just try to make sure. I didn't want to go off of mine yet because I'm not ready to debut my big board yet. Um, but I'm surprised that Monroe Freeling was still there. So that had to have been my big board, yeah. But anyways, sorry. Um, and then right tackle, guard, I think could be a need as well. IDL, I think is their number 2 need outside of quarterback for me. Cornerback, I think they could use safety. That's probably their number 3 need for me. Um, And then I think they can use secondary depth on top of that, front 7 depth on top of that, mainly in the IDL room and linebacker room. And then I think you could use a kicker as well. So with IDL being their number 2 biggest need for them, I think being at 36 plays well into their favor. And Caleb Banks, Peter Woods, and Christian Miller are all on the board here. Here's my thing: is Peter Woods is actually my IDL 1 in this class. I understand why people are lower on him, but I think Peter Woods go to a place that I've been mocking Peter Woods at 28 to the Texans a lot. Um, I wish Cade McDonald was here because if he was here, that would be definitely the pick. I think that'd make the most sense for the Raiders. Um, but I don't know if you take the gamble on Peter Woods, um, with having a new staff pretty much. Um, Caleb Banks, I think, is really good as well, but there's that injury stuff that's been out about him, so he worries me. And then Christian Miller, I also think is pretty solid. I just think he's not as good as these two guys. Um, and then Lee Hunter's fine as well. But with these three guys sitting here, man, I got to take one of them. And because he is my IDL one, I am going to take Peter Woods, even with the concerns that I did express. I'm still going to take him. Here at pick 67, I think you kind of just look BPA at position of need, whether that's wide receiver. I think you could look tackle guard here as well, or corner safety. I'm seeing Keontae Scott off rip and Davison Igbinosun. I think there's more corners I could get down here at 102, 117 that I like as well. Safety, I'm seeing Kamari Ramsey, which again, there's safeties that I don't mind that I think I could get at 102, 117, like Zakee Wheatley or Bud Clark, or Michael Taffy, maybe a little later. Um, Wide receiver, I think, is probably the best position group currently on the board. Um, and I think there's a little bit more of a drop off in those other two positions that I was just looking at. And then tackle. Yeah, I think I'm good on those guys. I think at that point you just rock DJ Glaze. Keelan Rutledge is here. I just don't know if you spend a pick to replace guard that early. And we've got some decent wide receivers on the board. I do like Bryce Lance. I think Antonio Williams is too similar to Trey Tucker. But I think this makes the most sense. I think I'm going to go get Elijah Surratt, get some a big bodied receiver. Um, and obviously, there's the connection as well with him and Fernando already. And then again, we're gonna look at safety corner here. I think I'm gonna roll the dice here on being able to get Bud Clark at 117, even though he's probably my highest. He's definitely my highest ranked player that is on sitting here on the board. Tackle again. I think I would just wait for Jude Bowery or J.C. Davis. I'm gonna take. I like Zakee Wheatley as well. I just like Bud Clark better. I like Dalen Everett. I like Malik Muhammad. I'm going to take Dalen Everett here at another Georgia corner. And oh my gosh, bro, I should have took one of the safeties. I just saw Zakee Wheatley and Bud Clark went. All right, we're going to wait on safety then. We'll get Michael Taft later, probably. Um, could double down at IDL with Landon Robinson. I don't really like Cage Casey that much. I don't mind Brennan Thompson here, but he again, like Trey Tucker's already kind of that smaller, deep threat guy. I would look for another big body, maybe like Eric McAllister. How big is Jacoby Lane? 6'4", 200. So maybe Jacoby Lane. I think CJ Daniels is also 6'2", 205. This is a tough pick right here, man. What about interior? Oh, Bo Stevens is here. Yeah, we'll take Bo Stevens there. I don't mind that. I think he has starter potential. And then Jude Bowery's here. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jude Bowery. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jude Bowery from Boston College because J.C. Davis just went before that. I didn't even notice that. I always forget about J.C. Davis. I like J.C. Davis better than Jude Bowery. All right, here I see Michael Taft sitting right there. Michael Taft is definitely going to be the pick here. He's probably the last safety that I think has some starter potential. I don't think it's a whole lot, but I think there's a little bit. Maybe Bishop Fitzgerald in a zone heavy scheme. So we'll take Michael Taft at 175. We haven't taken a corner yet. Oh man, that's bad. All right. Well, let's look BPA then. I don't mind one of these running backs potentially. I don't mind one of those running backs, I think, to add to that running back room. I don't know. See, this is why I should have just used my regular big board. I think Jamari Taylor would be my highest ranked here. Him, one of the Indiana guys, or Desmond Reed. I actually I actually think Desmond Reed makes the most sense here. What's Jamari Taylor's receiving grade? Doesn't show. He had 43 receptions on 54 targets for 251 yards. Because Desmond Reed is a good receiving threat, in my opinion. And I think whatever running back you would want to go get would be somebody with a receiving threat. I don't mind Jamari Taylor. We'll take Jamari Taylor. And then I think I'm gonna take Jaden Kennedy here because he's definitely my top ranked corner left. And then to end it out, we've taken a quarterback, we've taken an IDL, we've taken a corner, took a backup running back, we took a receiver. Wouldn't mind doubling down a receiver here. We took a tackle and a guard. Even though I don't know if they're starters. Took a safety. I would either say this is either a linebacker for depth or anybody in the front seven for depth. Matter of fact, let me look at that. Or a receiver. I know there's going to be receivers here that I like. Harold Perkins isn't. Harold Perkins, TJ Guy, Vincent Anthony Jr. are like the first ones I see. Eric Gentry's. Sean James Newbies here. Brandon Cleveland. What receivers are here? Colby Young's here. That's who I was thinking would be here. 6'4", 215, big body receiver. We'll take him. We'll take Colby Young, double down at receiver there. All right, so that is draft number one for the Raiders. Obviously, we go Mendoza at one. We take Peter Woods at. I didn't even look at what the PFF simulator needs says it is for the Raiders. I probably should have looked at that. I didn't even look. So it's got Mendoza at one, Peter Woods at pick 36, Elijah Surratt at pick 67, Dalen Everett at pick 102, Bo Stevens at pick 117, Jude Bowery at pick 134, Michael Taft at pick 175, Jamari Taylor at 185, Jaden Kennedy at 208, and Colby Young at 219. Obviously, if you've been around my channel before, anything after round 5 or later, pretty much, in my opinion, is like pretty much a depth piece. And that's obviously what these 3 picks are here. This is like a receiving back depth piece. This is, and then like especially 6th and 7th rounds, like here 2 if it's picked 200 or later, it's definitely a depth guys. Kennedy, Colby Young. Colby Young's got big body. I like his route running for like a big bodied guy, 6'4", 215. I think is said what he was listed at. So I do think that there might be some like a small glimpse of starter potential there. Not for Jaden Kennedy though, not for Jamari Taylor either. I think he would be like a specialist guy. Michael Taft, I think there's a little bit of starter potential. Jude Bowery, I think as well, but I think he's more of a project than anything. So like DJ Glaze would definitely still start at left tackle. I think it's a solid guy to bring in there though. Like, hey, if Colt Miller gets hurt again, hey, Jude Bowery's our starter now at right tackle. Bo Stevens, I think there's a little bit of star potential, but again, I think that's still like that's going to be Spencer Burford, Jackson Powers Johnson's job. And then I think Dalen Everett potentially starts. If not, I think it's a solid depth piece and a young guy to have. Elijah Surratt definitely starts. You'd probably have Elijah Surratt on the outside with Jack Besh and Trey Tucker as like a slot guy. And then obviously Mendoza, I think probably sits behind Kirk for a few weeks, and then Peter Woods, I think slots right in as probably your best IDL player. And then we'll run one more real quick, 7 rounds. Let's get it started. Fernando Mendoza, number one overall. All right. So at pick 36 this time around, let's see. I'm assuming all those guys, like Peter Woods is there again. See, here's the thing. Okay, Emmanuel Pregnant's definitely my number one player on the board. This interests me too, Jacob Rodriguez. Pawns interest me. Pregnant's my number one player, but I just don't. You spent money on what is his contract? 1 year, 3.2 million. Pregnant played left guard. We'd have 2 Oregon guards. Let's do it. Let's do it for the variation. We'll take Emmanuel Pregnant there at 36. He steps in and starts at left guard. Oh man. Okay. I think you definitely have to take an IDL here, though, just due to like there's guys I'm fine with further down the board, but like I think Dale Jackson Jr. is kind of like the cutoff for like starter potential. Um, oh, who would I take here? Probably Dominique Orange. I would take Dominique Orange out of Iowa State. Pick 102. I think you look receiver corner safety here. Sean Stribling. Malik Muhammad's here. I think safety is more of a need than anything. I'm not going to let Bud Clark get away this time. I'm going to go ahead and take Bud Clark. I'm going to go ahead and take Bud Clark. How big is Stribling? 6'2", 210. I'm going to pass on receiver again. I see Dante Corleone here. That interests me with how much of a need I think. And see, like Brian Parker interests me, but like I definitely think he's a guard center at the next level. Bo Stevens is there again. I think you can get him later though. I'm gonna take Dante Corleone. I'm gonna double down at IDL just because I think it's that bad. Take a corner yet? We haven't. Jalen Kilgore sitting here. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jalen Kilgore. So I think you've got to go receiver here. I think you have to go receiver with one of these two picks. Oh, this is a true left. Tyron Montgomery, maybe. But like even then, like with where he's ranked, you can get him later. Jeff Caldwell, 6'5". That's what I thought. I knew he was big. How about Jeff Caldwell? I think you can take him with the next pick though. Or took a guard. Okay. All right. We went double down at IDL, took a guard, took Mendoza, took Bud Clark, took Jalen Kilgore. Is this Jamari Taylor again? Oh, is this Caden Curry? This is Caden Curry. This is yeah, that's Caden Curry for sure. Then you no, Jeff Caldwell went. Gosh. Oh wait, no, Jeff Caldwell went before our last pick. I'm tripping. Wait, did he? No way. The friggin' Titans took Jeff Caldwell right before us. Chase Roberts isn't probably gonna play in the NFL. Is it Tyron Montgomery? He's 6'1". All right, looks like the Las Vegas Raiders are rocking with who they've got at receiver. I mean, Xavier Thomas is like, but like, dude, he's 5'10", like just straight speed. Like, I just feel like you don't take that. You've already got that. I'm gonna wait on Colby Young. I'm gonna take Colby Young again, and with one of the second round picks. Is this Jamari Taylor again? Is this Owen Heineke? Get linebacker depth. These are some tough picks to make. What about tackles? Who's left here at tackles? I don't mind Drew Shelton here, actually. Played left tackle. Rucci played right. I think I like Shelton over Rucci, though. But would you rather have the right tackle? Because we'll take Drew Shelton. Oh, wait, I forgot to look at the needs on here. What does it say they are? I'm interested. Quarterback, wide receiver, tackle, D line, safety. Okay. Pretty similar with what we had. Pretty similar. We already took Bud Clark, so I'm not gonna take Bishop Fitzgerald. I don't mind. Oh man, my guy Skylar Gill Howard is sitting all the way. He's at 212. Oh my gosh, bro. All right, we'll take Desmond Reed this time around, receiving upside at running back, and then we'll go take Colby Young again for a big body receiver. Noah Thomas is also a big body. I just don't like him anywhere near as much as Colby Young. So that is it for our Raiders 7 round mock draft video. Second mock draft was Fernando Mendoza at 1. Obviously, we went Pregnon this second time around replace Burford because you only gave him a 1 year, $3 million contract. Sets that, that interior offensive line kind of in stone there with JPJ, Jax Myers Johnson, Emmanuel Pregnon, and Tyler Linderbaum. Dominique Orange fit in there in the IDL room, help it out. Bud Clark, I think, has starter potential. Dante Corleone, I think, also has starter potential. Maybe him and Dominique Orange both are your guys with Adam Butler. Jalen Kilgore is a little depth piece in that corner room. Caden Curry's a little depth piece in that edge rusher room. Drew Shelton is kind of like a depth piece on the offensive line. And then Desmond Reed provides some receiving upside in that running back room. And Kobe Young is a depth piece again as well in that wide receiver room with big body, 6'4", 215. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all watching. Um, and tune in because we got another video coming out this week. And I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.